Hello, my name is Adrian Mangan. I'm at home on quarantine, working. Figured I'd do a little video here of your drawing styles. It's gonna cover a lot of things like model roles and prefixes and stuff like that. So it's kind of a whole cross section of things, but mainly on the drawing styles, because we need to clean this up a little bit. I kind of have it set up where, this is obviously not what you want out of the box. Now, I'm by no means an expert at this, but, a video like this might have helped me out a year or two ago. So we'll start off with, we have this railing here. So this is if we check to see the assembly. Alright, so that's your assembly, and it fits into these footings. So that's all one piece. So this was created originally with the macro, so you need to be careful, I guess, sometimes, because some of these will be beams and some will be poly beams. So let's see, let's go to number it first anyway. So I have some other stuff here that's turned off, so I'll just select everything I want to number. And this is the number method I use mostly. Now it's like, oh, hold on, my pipe rail is named, it's got the part mark B1, which I don't want. I want it to be R, so there's a mistake somewhere, which is kind of the way I want it. So what we'll do is, we want this to be named R, so what I'll do is we'll go in and see what this is set up as. So there's no model role. Alright, so we want to select, if we select this and do select similar, because a lot of times the top element is going to be a poly beam. So select similar. Alright, we can still pick all these. Now I'm going to change the model role, so you can see I can't do advanced properties because these aren't all the same type of elements. I have to go to advanced multi-edit, so there's beam properties and poly beams. So most likely that top piece was created as a poly beam, which can be a bit of a pain, I think, sometimes. So we'll change all the properties anyway. So all the properties, and we're going to change them to, so what we'll do is, if I come down here, we have one called rail, but I don't like that. I want to change that to railing. So what we'll do is, we're going to need to create a new model role. So let's go into management tools, object property editor, model roles. I usually like this, doesn't really matter, it creates a new one anyway. I'll go down and I'll pick rail and I'll do new and I'll do railing and I'll group this. And a lot of times I just do all objects, to be honest, so I can just use it for anything. And apply that. So there's our new one. What I'll do is I'll get rid of this one, rail, because that's kind of weird. We don't need rail and railing, right? So we'll apply that. Alright, it can't be deleted, so let's not worry about that for now. So I have the one I want, railing, so go back in here. We want to update our database. I usually click on it twice just in case. So now click on that, do select similar, and then do advanced multi-edit again, all properties, naming, railing. So they're all in as railing, so that's good. These were originally in as rail, and I changed the model role previously, and then I just redid it there. So that's why they were in as railings. Alright, so now I've just created that. So if I number this, it should number not the way I want it to. So it's going to number as a B1, as a beam. Now, if we want to check the main part of that, we go to Objects and click on this button here, mark main part of assembly, and we can see that that top part is the main part of the assembly. So whatever's happening is this is numbering these as beams, because I have my beams to set up to be B's. So we need to set up our prefixes. So we'll go into our prefixes, user, and so the top one, all these posts are just beams. So we'll need to go into beams, any, and we'll come down here. I'll click rail. I want to create a new one. Object type is going to be beam. Model role is going to be the one I just created, which is railing. Sorry, let's just use the R for railing. And I want to use any type of profile. Okay. Now I want to have an R there and an R there. Apply. So now that's changed all my beams. So if we go into our numbering tab, let's open up our table again. We can see that that's B. We can see these other objects. See, this is highlighted. So these all come in as B's, which can be confusing in the shop to have railings as B. So that's kind of weird. So we don't want them as B. So now we've created a prefix for this one. So if I renumber this and number this, you shouldn't have to delete the numbers. You should just have to renumber. Right, so the main part, which is B1, we'll see it if we go to the single parts. The B1 is the top bar. You can see it there highlighted. So that's B1. Now all the other pipes have changed to R. So the top one is the only one that hasn't changed. That's because that one's a poly beam. So we need to go back in to our output and go to our prefix settings and go to user, and we want to do the same thing again in poly beams. So as you can see, I have a stray one here. This needs to be deleted. So I'll just go in and pick something similar. Doesn't matter. I want it to be a poly beam. I'm going to want it to have the model role of railing like the other one. I'm going to use any profile, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do R and a large R. So that should be good. So now this is going to be a small R and a large R, depending on single part, or depending on if it's the main part of the assembly or not. And this is the same. So this is the main part. So now if we number this again, this whole rail should change from a B1 to an R1. So let's number this. And there you go. Change to R1, the B1. R1, B1. And if you go in, all our rails then should be R's in here, which is good. That's the way we want it. Now going forward, that's going to stay the same. Now, if you want, you can create a new profile inside your prefixes. So, you know, you have user, you can create new ones. So I just use the main one and change it. I use the same one for everybody. You can create new ones for different customers. I'm not quite at that point. So, alright, so that's the kind of setting up of it. So we've numbered it now, and it's on the drawing here. So what we're going to do is we'll update this. Labels and dimensions, update detail. So we'll update this. This is a B1 up here, you can see. That's changed to R1, right? So, and the base plate sections, they're numbered. But, you know, this doesn't, you know, there's quite a bit of work here. I mean, what size? This is 1/8, right? The text size is 1/8. Alright, so we want to get rid of this round. The first thing we need to do is get rid of these round bars, because this will just be labeled one time as a mesh. It's just going to be welded to this angles around its side. So if you want to check what style you're using, you should already know what you've put on the drawing, but just click on this box and you can see 2 detailed view ADM 1.8. So that's the style I use. So let me go in here, and this is your drawing style manager. Go into your drawing style manager. So there, the main part beams would be the main part, which is the top of the handrail. The beams can be all attached parts. So sorry, I just deleted the one that I had created before to run a quick test on this. So in case you're wondering, so what I want to do is I want to create a new beam. But this, if you click in on this and go up here, you can see that this is all model roles. So all beams, all model roles. And all beams, all model roles, and the behavior will be, you can see visible hidden and section name in text size 1.8. So that's what we've got at the minute. So we want to create a new one. So click on that one, and this will create a similar one. Then double click on that. And I'll go in here to your model objects. So I want to create a new model objects. So I want to create it. I'm going to call it beams and bars. And I'm going to have that with model role, because I'm going to use the model role. So it's going to be in that section. That shows you where it's going to put it. Beams, and then I want to change this to bar. Now you can add more. We can have different model roles, a couple of different ones, and then it depends where you put it on the list. I'll show you that now. So let's apply that so I can save that, and then just go back here to object. So it's all the way down here now, so it's going to be in order of importance, use last. So what'll happen is it's going to get treated like this first. So to override it, you need to move this one up above it. So let's move this one up above it. Beams, bars, visible hidden. Okay. Apply. Let me just check my size. 1.5. Alright, that's good. Apply. Use. And I'll pick this. Now, I have forgotten something. I believe I've done it right, but I still have the labels, you see, but I forgot to go back in, which is a good thing. It's better to go back in a couple of times. It'll give you a better idea. Let's click here. So I still have the section name set, so let's turn this off. So we want to go to others, go to off, and then apply and use. And now, all going well, those labels will disappear, which they haven't. So funnily enough, when I ran my test it worked, but now it's not working. So let's see what I'm doing wrong. So beams, bars, all hidden, off. Alright, so let me see. Click on this, model roll, bar, beams, filter. Okay, so that should be good. Okay. So let me check the model rolls. Maybe I've not done the model rolls correctly. Let's see. Naming. See, these are all named as beams. I apologize. So what I haven't done is I haven't set up this. I need to change the bars because everything is controlled off the model roll. So what we'll do is we'll set up a query, and because sometimes you can just select an element and do select similar, but it's going to pick anything that's like a beam there. So what we'll do is we'll set up a query, and we'll do objects, steel beams, and we'll do beams, steel beams, and we'll do round bars. So let's find the round bars. We'll do AISC round bars, and we'll do 1.8 round bars, and we'll do save that as bars 1.8. So there's bars 1/8, and then OK. Alright, sometimes we have to run this again. Let me see. There you go. Sometimes it doesn't select them, so execute. There you go. So now we have all our round bars selected. I also had this query set to highlight in green, so that's why they look in green. So we'll go back in here. These are just highlighted now, so what we need to do is select all those, and then we need to do advanced properties. We need to do name, and we need to change this to bars. So where's bar? There it is, bar. Now we can name this whatever you want. I mean, you can set up your own. Just try and keep it similar. And so that's good. They're all updated. Alright, so save the model. Save OK. Unhighlight the mesh. Go back to my drone. Go back into your drone style. It might work if you update, but I generally like to come back in here and do use. Now, hopefully all these should disappear. And they have. Alright, so now we're closer to where we need to be. These base plates are marked. This is marked. Now, sorry, excuse me. Now, these flat bars, they're just marked as flats. And same with these angles. But, you know, the one time I can set this up as a... I like to put the numbers in sometimes, even though we don't really need them on the approval drawings. But so what we'll do is we'll go back in here, and these are these beams. So these are all the other beams. So the bars are treated first, and then it moves on to side width. You can see these are from the end when you're looking at the end of beams, and then all the other ones are all the beams. So, I mean, you can add this, the geometric restriction. There's quite a lot. I mean, I don't use too many of them, to be honest with you. But I'm kind of only getting my head around everything. So the beams, it's just given the section name. So what I want to do is I want to change this. And I want to go part marks. And I'll do the ones that I have set up myself. So I want the mark and the name. I don't think I need the leader mark, so what I'll do is the single mark name. This one has the leader, so I won't do that one. Where is it? Single part name 1/8. Apply. Don't forget to apply, because you can do use and it won't apply that change before it uses it. So as you can see, it's changed all these flat bars, and you know, you need to tidy this up a little bit. If you want to put label, if you want to put a leader line, you can put a leader line. So the angles didn't get any labels, right? So the angles are treated. You'll see, let's see where the angles are. So I have the angle set up here. I have a separate one for the angle. Now, if I move this all the way down below this, this is a good example, if it works. So if I move this below beams, so let's say we move it back up one, so it's just below beams. This, because the angle is a beam in advanced steel, so this one should change the angles. So the angles will get referred to by this first. Sorry, this one. Then it'll go to this one. So let me see what happens. We've put this below this one. So now this is what should happen to the angles. So we'll do apply, use. And there you go, it worked. Now, just to see in reverse, if I go back and I click on the angle and I'll go up and use this, apply and use. It should switch back because now it's going to use the angle one I had first. It doesn't have that label. So now if I go, let's go back and put it the way we want it. So I'm going to do, I want to move this back down again. We could delete this. You can add your own new ones, whatever you need to do. Same way as I did the one for the bars. So let's apply that and use. So that gives you the idea how to do that. So now I've my piece numbers now. You just need to line these up. To be honest with you, I haven't got my labels fully coming in exactly where I want. I can get my leader lines. I mean, let's see, we'll change this and put a leader line on this just so you can see where we're going with this. So that's a main part beam. Main part beam, top, side width. Just getting used to the geometric restrictions is sometimes the problem. So maybe this may be viewed as the top even though it's not the top. So what we'll do is, let's see, if we change this to with leader line, mark name with leader line, and apply and use. Now this will change, yeah, there. So now if it didn't, it would have just meant, see, this one is a plate, so it didn't give this one one. It just gave this one one because it was a beam. So how about, you know what, it's better if I have labels on the plate one. So let me change this back to mark and name, that's the one. And now the one with the plate, let me switch that. I want to do the plate and I want to change the plate to mark name leader ADM 18. Apply. So this should remove the leader line here, and it should add leader lines to these base plate ones. So let's see. So it's removed this one and it's added this one. So yeah, that works the way I want it to. I mean, look, you're going to go through and delete some of these because a lot of these elements are the same. It's getting you a little bit closer, I guess. I don't know, I'm sure most people are doing this already. Now, also with this representation here, before I finish, if you want to go in here and go back to our bars, see, this is shown as visible hidden. You've got quite a lot of selection here. Let me go back to it, sorry. Visible hidden, look, you've got such a selection here. But let's say we don't want to see that hidden line. I do, but let's say we don't. Then just pick visible on the bars, and it should change the bars to visible just. So what'll happen is these green lines at the end and these ones here will disappear. And there you go, like it's a lot cleaner looking, but then you also can't see that these carry through. But that cleans up that drawing really nice. I mean, maybe I would leave that like that and then just do a detailed view up close of the other side. Yeah, I mean, that looks a lot better. I would leave this one just because you can see it's an angle if you leave it there. Now, you can also just click on elements like individually and you can turn off the hidden lines, which is something, to be honest, I didn't know for a while. And you know, it just means you can clean up your drawings a little bit as you go along, you know. So, you know, like with these pipes, you could select those two pipes and do advanced properties and turn off the hidden lines. You know, maybe that's a little cleaner looking. But I hope this was helpful. You know, this is just a little project I'm helping somebody out with. So, obviously this is not a finished product here. You need dimensions and everything. The dimensions are something that I've struggled to do myself. So with things like this, I just put them in myself. It just takes a couple of minutes because when you do them through the drawing style, you have to check them anyway. But you know, it's obviously better to set them up for your part details. But I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you next time. I'll try and put out some videos now that I'm at home, and I do think this was helpful. It's kind of covered a lot of stuff, and let me know if anyone wants a video on something. Put it in the comments. Not sure if I can help, but I'll try if I can. Alright, take care, and stay safe, everybody, in this strange times of quarantine. Alright, bye bye.